Just know, if you're struggling in any which way, you have to go as slow as you can. If somebody's already waiting, they're going to have to wait. If you're in a pressure point, you lose something, depending on what it is, you have to stand up and know before the actuality comes. You're confident because you know you've done the best you can. And that's why I'm bringing up this situation here. Has anybody ever seen this bird and what this bird can do? 4 and 4 in his extension. I make these little ones over here like little clams. Okay, the reality of this is I'm jumping by 2, and it's been years, and I've been trying to figure it out. And I'm quite sure somebody's already figured it out, but I just arrived. Take this calculator. See where it goes 9, 5, 1, 4 and 4. The other one goes 7, 5, 3, 2 and 2. Here I jump 2 areas, 2 areas, 2 areas. Here I jump 4 areas and 4 areas. 4 and 4 is 8. 2, 2, 2 is only 6. But guess what? I'm jumping less of a distance. 6 equals 8. 3/4. 68 is the separation of 7. In my next design, okay, and I wasn't going to do this part of the design, adding up numbers. Numbers reversed. Add up 1 through 7, then 7 through 1, reverse them, you have 1 over 7. Then you have 2 over 6. Then you have 3 over 5. 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. What this actually should say is it should say 2. Then it should say 4. Then it should say 1, 4, 2. I think I have that on my other sheet. Two, 4, 2, 4. This is the Monopoly board. The center is 1. If you go all the way around 40, the area space that's missing, if it was equally calculated to the area that you continue 40 around Monopoly, in which the Mediterranean cannot be obtained using 2 dice. So we have to say 2, because in the area corner, right, there's 3 areas. You see the V in the corner? That equals to 3. It takes 3 to get around the V. But it only takes 1 to get down to the train. It takes 3. The straight line is 4. 3, straight line is 4. Then you have 1 train, and the straight line is 4. Then to get around is 3. So you go 3, 4, DC 7. Then 1 is 8. Then 4 is 12. Then 3 is 15. And you've made it around the corner. The 16th area, you're out. That's how much it takes to clear this area. It's 2, then it's 4, then it's 1. 2, 4, 1. 2 for 1. Hey, let's get a 2 for 24 hours for 1 day. 2 and 4 is 6, and 1 is 7 to get to the center, and then another 6. So we have 3 over here, and 4 over here, and then the trains. 3 and 4, and 1 is 8. Then 3 and 4 and 1 is 8. Is that correct? 3, 4, and 1? Don't count the 1. We've already counted the train once. Then 3 and 4. That's your 15. Your sweet 16 is you're back on the train again. Or you're out of the corner. So anyways, before you come into the corner, going into the corner and coming out of the corner, if you count both of them coming into the corner and coming out, you end up with 3, 4. You end up with 1 coming in and then 3. You stood on 1 to come in. You know, you have to take a half step. Your foot goes forward. You don't hop. You're not a rabbit. So if we use H for hop and W for walk, 8 and 5. So let's do it again. You have 3 to come in to this area over here. Then you have 4. Then you have 1. You have a total of how many? 13, 14, 15, 1 out and 1 in. 16, 17. That's your magic number, 17. Now when we go around the Monopoly board, it takes 40. It takes 40. Your second row. Let me show you the way it works. Let me see this over here. I'm fermangling myself. The first row is 1. It takes 8 to get around. And after that 8, it takes 16 to go around. And then after that, it takes 24 to go around, right? But we don't get that in the backgammon dice. We don't get that 24 in the backgammon dice. I'm looking for the dice. We don't get that double in the dice. So we have to know it's a half space. We get 16, and then we get 32. But we don't get 24. And then from 24 to 32, the freezing point, and then to 40. 32, the freezing point, and 40 are actually in the same area. And the reason for that is because all properties are rectangular. They count for 2 squares. They count for 2 squares. A corner counts for 4 squares. So now if we're going around this way and around the corner Monopoly, it's actually 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The area in between is 9, and then 1 and 1, 10, 11. It's 11, the Monopoly board. Is it 11? Sorry, it's 13. Monopoly board is 13 on the outside. 13 on the outside. 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How is that possible? There's a corner. Did I do that? Did I do this right? Let me check this out. Let me check this out. There's a corner, then there's 4 properties. 1, 2, 3, 4 properties. Oh yes, then there's the train over here. Okay, and then there's another 4 properties. I just made the train bigger for a different reason, but I'm going to continue on to the reality of numbers. These 4 properties will create 8. These 4 properties will create 8, and 8 is 16. And then the 2 over here is 18 for the trains. The 4 in the corner is 22. The 4 in this corner is 26. You have a total of 26 used here. 26 used here. Now, what is it in between? Well, take away 4 and 4. You have 4, which is 8. 8 is 16. The total is 18. You have 18 here. You have 8. You have 18 here, 18 here, 18 here, 18 here. 36, 36. You're cutting these corners in half. You can't. You can't take out a corner. You have to use the whole corner. So what would be the realities if I cut this board in half? I'll have to take this line and either do this to it, right? That's what I'll have to do. I'll have to keep jigging the line. I'll have to count all these, and all these, I'm counting what's on the other side of the board. But anyways, let's finish. I have 8 and 8, 88, 828, the sky system, 828. Here's my pyramid, 828. It goes over here. Now we're going to talk about something a little bit different. Once we finish the Monopoly board off on the 13th line, when we add on another line, that would be the 15th line going around. Then it would be the 17th line, then the 19th and 21st. This line up over here is the 7th area. This line up is the 8th area. This is the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th area. 72 times 4 equals the 288. Multiplied by 1.25 is your 360 degrees. We need to get the extra area over here of separation. I'm going to see if I can back up something in my book over here. Just give me a second. Yeah, it's over here. This design over here shows me that I go this, see these 3 things here? I have 120 here of 360. I have 120 here of 360. Each one of these has to be 360. Now, how can I show you? I need 120 degrees on one side. I need 480 in the center. I need 120 of separation. I need 600 to one side, 600 to the other side. I need 360 to one side, 360 minus and add. This equals sun girl. This equals 126 area, space, and time. 621 instead of 512, man space. 120 is the gateway. 240 is a whole Mayan week or month. It's a 10-day period. 10 days and 10-day period. It becomes a Mayan month, 480 hours. Separation of 480 is because take off 240 and put it here, and take off 240 is because I brought 202 areas of 360 degrees together. Then I split them up. These 2 things, noted, see this point I automatically needed over here? Automatically needed. Goes in this corner. I'm not going to talk about that. Not going to talk about that. Not going to talk about who's on first. When you use it this way, who, instead of an A, you're using an O, I get the Z sound at the S. Plural S. Remember, it's a plural. Plural. 16th and 12th letter, 28 it starts with. Coming from somewhere else. That's a connection to the time moon. Then what's, okay, actually with a C. And so, you know what I'm saying? What's on second? Who's on first? What's on second? Just because who is Z, this one becomes C, this one becomes the Z, the S, taking on different areas. So now we actually have one area, which is the corner Monopoly, the center Monopoly, okay, and the other side. 181. 181, which is actually not 181. We have to separate the train. We have to go 1, 4, 1, 4, 1. Trains, right? We always have to remember the trains. Right? Is it 1? 1 in the corner. Then we have 4 properties. Then we have 1 train. Then we have 4 properties. Then we have 1 in the corner. 1 for 1 exchange. 144, 141, 1 times 4. It's a repeating of the sun exchange. The sun exchange. Who won? Who lost? No ties in tennis and basketball. Is it overtime? Is it extra time? Is it extra innings? All these are telling stories. I'm not going to get into it. Because I don't know, you gotta pinpoint and work on each one of them, small little pieces. And anyways, let's get back to the Monopoly again. When we get to this row, we have added on 2 more rows. We're at stand on 17, right? We can go to 21 blackjack, but we stand on 17, 7 times 8. 1 times 7, 1 plus 7, which is the reality of movement in Monopoly, the first and the last. And we end up with 8, and 1 and 7 is the gateway. G, gematria, is where 1 is the where we skip over, right? 1 and 1. Even though this is the 10th area, it's 1 and 1, it's a skip over. We don't have 10 until we pass 7. We don't have the other side. Gematria shows me. The up in the piano, the up, down in gematria counting is actually, I think, showing you 2 sides of the piano. Because one is going up, down, 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 down. The other one's going up. And you can't go down until after 7. And 8 is not actually down. You haven't made it down until you actually got to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 10. The corner, right? The star system corner, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 10. That's out of the game. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5 or 9. Which one? 5 or 9? Take one. Doesn't matter. 5 or 9. You're only 6. 5 or 9, you're only 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8 is the moons. The moons, my friends. 7 and 8 is an adjustment to the moons. Which moons your mind is on. So these are the areas. What are these? How many times it takes to get around the Monopoly board. Area blocks, 72. But it's more than 72 because if every area is using up, like I showed you, 2 at a time, okay, I would have to forget the corners in this, because if I count the corners in this, the corners will always count for 16. No matter which one I choose, the corners are always 16. Choose this one over here, right? I have 24 and the corner 16. I choose this over here. I have, here I have 24. I take this one over here. I have the corner 16. I have 32 and 16, the freezing mark. The freezing mark, Pluto, the sun girls. Over here, I take away 16. I have 40 and 16. Don't forget, I'm not counting the one in the center right now. In between all this is 1. 56 and 1, that's the moon. 48 to 49, that is the passageway. 40 to 41, that's your DNA. 64 to 65, second sun. 72 becomes 73, Nibiru, the second sun of Nibiru. Add up these 2 numbers, what do you get? 6 and 7 is 13, 1 and 3 is 4, 4 and 2 becomes 6, they become 6 and 4, the DC world. I add up these 2 together, it creates 21. Add up these 2 together, it creates 95. The 15th and the 17th, Mars Queen. 8 times 7.5 will equal that hour. 6 times 10, 5 times 12, 4 by 12. We find in-betweens. We find in-betweens. We find the game. Did you understand this Monopoly game? Do you understand the diameters of these? Equal to the greatest diameter, the split, but we always must go around this one over here. So this will never show equal. It'll always be to one side because they only added 1 part on. They're only adding 1 part on. I don't know in which way I should take it, and I saw it because of the deck of cards. If you would cut off equally the deck of cards, what happened to those deck of cards? They already cut the corners for us, but the only way to cut this card is to cut it this way. Now, how equal is that, right? Because I need to keep 7s on each corner. I got to make them look the same. Was that equal at all? No. See more on one card than the other. It can never be equal. It's brought into the game different. I didn't even want to... I just did a 15-minute video that I won't upload, and I redid it with this one. And this is a whole Monopoly thing, my friend. This is a whole hooking up wiring. When I did this 515, I shouldn't have done it that way. Anyways, let me just do one more thing. When you start in the corner, you have 2 areas already used up. Then by the time you get through over here, you have 9 areas. And then you have 2. You have 2, 9, 2. Then in the row before that, in the row before 40, it'll now be the row of 32. You will no longer have the same thing, because once you get over here, you end up with 1 area inside the corner. 1 area is still inside the corner. But over here, okay, because you moved up an area, you no longer get the whole area. Once I move up 1 to this next section, boom, over here, okay. Oh, I'm still 2. No, I can't be 2 because I moved 1 in. I moved 1 in, so I'm only 1 here in this area. I still get the 9 in here, and then the 1. It goes 13, then 11. Messer, you said 13 and 11, trademark, 4 and 2. You go into the next area over here, you get 11. So you now get 1, 11, 1. 1, excuse me, this one was 9. Over here, 9. You get 1, 9, 1. That's your 11, 1, 9, 1. You go up into the next area, you're no longer in the corner. So you have to move up 1, 2, 3 before you get to the corner. It's 2 for the corner, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1. It's 1, 1 in the center, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 4, 2 before you get to the corner. But there's one thing missing. Okay, I didn't finish this video, and I have to show this. That when you're coming to the center, you need a whole area space for your center. You need to be surrounded by that 8, making it equal. That line. See, I don't like to make these videos so long, but that center, if this center has to stay together, we need to save. We need to save this area over here. I need to save this one, so I need to make it here, right over here, the line, which in all actuality should be over here. You need a line above. You need an area above, okay, for connecting its own line to connect the halfway space in between. Do you follow me? There's a halfway space that you can't see. It's called area space noted. Let's say it's void space, like an empty space to attach a cord between here and here, and here's an empty space where the cord is. Well, that's what I need over here. But I'm going to use minimum space. Okay, I'm going to use minimum space. And by using that minimum space, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 7th one. This is the 7th one. Okay, I cannot chop off a half space over here. I must complete the whole space, so I can't chop off that half space. See the half space over here? It's still going through it. I have to go all the way back over here. This is where it has to go. I can't chop this half space. I can't go through here. It goes through here. It ends up over here. See this line? This line can go down to here. This is the half space. Do you follow what I'm saying? So this area being 1, we need to take up the trains, 1 on each side of the train, right? Like the silos on each side of the train. So where this train is, in position number 5, 1 in the corner, 1 in the corner, 5. There's 4 over here. There's 4 over here. There's 1 over here. 4, 8. 4 and 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11. Is this correct? Is this correct? 1 corner, then 4 areas, then the train, then 4 areas, and 1 corner. The area we stand on, if I go 10, if I'm standing here and go 10, I automatically go here. So go 10 equals 11. Just like Monopoly is across is 10, right? But there's actually 13 blocks. Right? There's 13 blocks and 13 blocks. And if there's 13 blocks and 13 blocks, there would be 13 and 13. But if you cut off, you have 13 and 13. Inside, if you only want to go to one side, you take off 2 blocks here, and now you have 11. So you actually have take off 2 blocks and 2 blocks. You have 9, 13 and 9. I think I said 11 before. Is that correct? But there's 2 blocks here, 2 blocks here, and there's 9 areas here. 9, 10, 11. So it's 9 blocks in between. It's 4 blocks and 1 block and 4 blocks. 14, 40 for the day. 5, 4 equals to the sun. 5, 4, 1 times 4, 1 plus 4, 1 minus 4 is equals to 3. 3, 4, 5 equals to 12. So now if I add this up, I got 9 and 9 is 18, and 12, I got a total of 30. 0, 3, I got a total of 33. Wow, works out perfectly to one side. Is that correct? Did I do that right? So now we do this, the train, okay, actually gets 3. It gets a double here. It gets itself as a double, and it gets another double. 2, 2, 2 is the trains. So the trains get 6. You have 4 areas over here. It gets 8. It has 4 areas over here. It gets 8. And the corners get 4 and 4. The day is 864 in seconds or something like that. That's how it all works. The corners, the train. Oh, and I said 4 areas. It's no longer 4 areas. Sorry. The train took it. What was once 8, now the train owns. Now it's 6 areas. Because it's 1 area, and it's 3 areas, and it's 3 areas, and it's 3 areas, and it's 1 areas. 1, 9, 1. Now, if you want to take out the corners, it's a different thing, but it's now 191. Do you follow what I'm saying? Is it 191? Did I make another mistake? Am I going to be upset with myself? Takes up 3 areas, equals to a total of 6. It takes up 3 areas, equals to a total of 6. It takes up 3 areas, it equals to a total of 6. The corners are worth 4, and the corners are worth 4. The total is 18 in the center, or 9, or 494. These are all the calculation combinations. I'm going to do this again. Raphael 7286 and a consolation Pegasus. The consolation prize, the constellations, the consolation prize. What is that supposed to mean to you? What is that supposed to mean to you? The consolation prize. Now, you think I want to save these pages? They're ugly. The consolation prize. So, yeah, I did this in the middle of my book. And there was one other thing I wanted to mention, was this.